Travis had never planned on an arranged marriage, but his mother had other ideas. Emily was the daughter of her best friend, and both women had dreamed of this wedding for years. At first, Travis and Emily resisted, unwilling to be pushed into something they hadn't chosen. But after a few meetings, something shifted. They started seeing each other differently, and soon, dating didn't seem so ridiculous. Over time, their relationship became serious, but they agreed not to live together until they finished college. Once they graduated, Travis suggested they get their own place and finally move in together. Their parents constantly pestered them about a wedding and future grandkids, but neither of them felt ready for that. They wanted to travel, explore, and enjoy life before settling down. For a while, things worked out. Travis landed a great job, and after he and Emily got married, they jetted off on a honeymoon, eager to start their new life together. But reality hit hard when they returned. Travis was laid off. He scrambled to find a new job, but every position required more experience or skills than he had. Eventually, he had no choice but to take a grueling factory job. The pay was steady, but far from the life they had envisioned. Emily, who hadn't planned on working, was now forced to job hunt as well. The financial strain took a toll on their marriage. Arguments became frequent, resentment built up, and love started to feel like a burden. "I'm sick of living paycheck to paycheck. When will we actually get to live like normal people?" Emily snapped one evening during yet another fight. "This is only temporary. We just have to hang in there." Travis tried to reassure her. "Look at Samantha. Her husband, Brandon, buys her whatever she wants. She lives like a queen, and I'm just—" Emily's voice cracked. Travis felt his stomach twist. "Then why did you marry me? Go find your precious Brandon if that's what you want," he muttered bitterly. Her words cut deep. He had been doing everything he could to keep them afloat, yet it still wasn't enough. He confided in a co-worker who shared his own horror story. His first wife had nagged about money constantly until one day he came home to find the apartment empty. She had run off with a wealthy man and never looked back. That thought haunted Travis. Determined not to let history repeat itself, he decided to take on extra jobs. When he told Emily, she approved, but there was something in her tone, something that sounded more like disdain than gratitude. One evening, he came home to find her dressed up, ready to head out. "Where are you going all dressed up?" he asked playfully. "Out," she answered flatly. "Why do I have to drag every little thing out of you?" he snapped. "Who are you meeting?" "You ask dumb questions," she shot back, irritation in her voice. That night, as he lay in bed, doubt gnawed at him. Their relationship was crumbling, and neither of them seemed willing to save it. Then, one afternoon at work, an unexpected visitor showed up. Samantha. She looked devastated, her eyes red from crying. At first, Travis thought something had happened to Emily, but Samantha shook her head and let out a shaky breath. "Brandon just confessed. He's been sleeping with Emily for a while now." Travis let out a hollow laugh, not wanting to believe it. "Are you sure?" Samantha shot him a sharp look. "Do you think I'd make this up?" she snapped. He apologized for doubting her, then asked what she planned to do. She shrugged helplessly. He suggested they meet up later to talk. The rest of the day, he replayed the past few months in his head, realizing all the signs he had ignored. By the end of his shift, he was boiling with anger. He met Samantha at a small cafe, where she vented about Brandon's true nature. "He's not the perfect husband I made him out to be," she admitted bitterly. "Emily kept telling me how amazing he was, how lucky I was, and all along she was with him." Travis shook his head. "I used to think he was great too, until I married Emily." After leaving the cafe, he drove home, ready to confront Emily. He had rehearsed all the things he would say, prepared to unleash the anger and betrayal he felt. But nothing could have prepared him for what he actually found. As he stepped inside, he saw them. Emily wasn't alone. Brandon was there too. In the foyer mirror, Travis caught the reflection of the two of them, completely unclothed. The worst part? Emily was on her knees before Brandon. So engrossed she hadn't even heard Travis come in. For a moment, Travis was frozen. Then Brandon spotted him in the mirror, cursed, and scrambled for something to cover himself. The first thing he grabbed? Travis's mother's handmade crochet blanket. That was the final straw. A roar ripped from Travis's throat as he lunged at Brandon, fists swinging. They brawled violently, with Emily screaming and trying to pull them apart. Desperate, she grabbed a book and slammed it over Travis's head. "Are you crazy?" he shouted, reeling from the hit. "You're going to kill him," she shrieked. With a distraction, Brandon broke free and bolted, clutching his black eye as he fled the apartment. Travis stood there, breathing heavily, staring at the woman he had once loved. There was nothing left to say. They had no shared property, no ties keeping them bound. The divorce happened quickly, though not without its fair share of bitter words. His mother called, sobbing, begging him to reconsider. He simply laughed and hung up. About a month later, Samantha reached out, excited to share that she had finally kicked Brandon out. She invited Travis to celebrate, and as they talked, they realized how much they had in common. Maybe, just maybe, everything had fallen apart, so that something new could be built. As for Emily, she moved in with Brandon, but her dream life quickly turned into a nightmare. Samantha had been right. Beneath his charming exterior, he was a controlling, manipulative man. Now that Emily had nowhere else to go, he tightened his grip, financially and emotionally suffocating her. She was too ashamed to admit it to anyone, trapped in the same cycle Samantha had once endured. Travis felt no sympathy. In his mind, Emily had made her choice, and now she had to live with it.